So, what will Brazil's emerging energy superpower status even mean for OPEC? Let's ask our next guest, Takin, senior analyst at the Center for Global Energy Studies. So, first of all, what are your expectations of the upcoming OPEC meeting?
On the OPEC meeting, as you have already said, I think the ministers would tell each other, Your Excellencies, please observe quota. There are many countries that are producing above quota, about 1 point something million barrels per day above the quota. At present, because the perception in the market is that market is tight, demand is going to grow, that perception is keeping the price high. But the fundamentals, if you look, I think these prices are not going to be sustainable. So the ministers will tell each other that they cannot continue overproducing and not having discipline or cheating, as some people say. I think, but formally, they will keep the same overall production ceiling.
So the quota issue will feature very strongly on the agenda of the meeting. You mentioned global demand there. Will it meet expectations for 2010?
Yes, definitely. So it's a good thing to mention that for 2010, there is a wide range between about 800,000, maybe 900,000 barrels per day growth expected for world demand in 2010, going up to 1.6 or even higher. So even twice, a factor of 100%. So we don't know what the growth in world oil demand would be in 2010. There's a wide range of opinion, and that requires flexibility from OPEC. And I think, again, the market, those who play in the market actually pay money and buy and sell. If they had the perception that demand growth is going to be 1.6, 1.8 million barrels per day, that is what is keeping the price up. But if the demand is going to be weaker, the growth, then there will be downward pressure, and that is what...
Either way, yes, that provides an incentive to cheat, doesn't it?
No. The incentive to cheat or overproduce is when the prices are high. So it is very difficult if purchases are at your door wanting to buy oil to say, I'm not going to sell it. But as soon as we see or the market shows a bit downward, then of course they will be desperate, and I think those who are overproducing, we get together, as they say, OPEC will put its house in order.
Okay, let's talk about Brazil now as well. What does this, we were asking you this question, what does its emerging status as an oil superpower now do to OPEC itself? What are the implications?
Well, it's not going to be relevant at least this year or another 4 or 5 years. This is a major resource that has been discovered, and it is beyond exaggeration. It's actually by technical data which has been provided. It is there. The oil is there. In fact, I think I could say personally that Petrobras are very careful because their shares are being traded. They cannot come up with these large values unless they are sure. So the figures that they announced, all these companies are a bit more conservative. So it's a huge resource base. It's going to be something more than the North Sea in the 1960s and 70s, and it will have a major impact on world supply of oil, but it has a lead time of at least 5 years or so.
You say that the oil is there and that the resources are there, but what about the challenges to actually starting production, given that these recent finds are several miles deep underwater and beneath a thick layer of salt on the seabed? So how difficult is it going to be to extract the oil?
The challenges have been met. Let's remember that Petrobras have been in the forefront of deep water operations for the last 20 years and 30 years. I think the industry accepts that. And many companies, international companies, are keen to go to Brazil and work in the subsoil in order to gain experience working together with Petrobras for the technical experience. So the technology is there and they can handle it. It is the volume that they need tens of ships, more than 100 of this rig and that equipment. It is the provision of that supply that may be a bottleneck in the next 5-10 years, not this year or next year.
Manager, in 5 seconds, will Brazil join OPEC in the future?
I don't think so. It will have the potential. Major exporter may produce 5-6 million barrels per day, but the policy of joining OPEC is something different.
Manager Takin, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.